Hey guys, it's your Ford Mustang here, and today I'm going to go over why I'm going to be leaving Ultimate Driving soon, for all the reasons stated, and basically 22 Pilots has summed it all up in this sheet right here. So, of course, the older generation of people from 2017 and 2018, even before that, like up to 2015 when the game was officially released. All the players from the older generation, including myself, are pretty pissed off at this treat. You're gonna ask me and the older players. Now, of course, I have no ill feelings to 22 Pilots, the other staff members, developers, anyone on the UD staff premises alike, including GameFam. But quite frankly, this is pretty irking for what 22 Pilots just said over here. If you sit around waiting for developers to post on Twitter just so you can scream at them about irrelevant nonsense, you're asking to be screwed with. LOL. And then he continues, ITT, which stands for in this thread, teenagers mad that they don't find the children's games they played when they were young fun anymore, despite said games having the same features as they did random year they decide were the golden years. And well, it was basically because there were a bunch of people complaining about the UI that was on the tweet before. And I actually don't mind it, to be honest, but that's my personal opinion. This is part of the dealership overhaul you're seeing over there. I got recommended all vehicles on sale, new vehicles leaving soon, which I believe leaving soon means vehicles that are going to go off sale soon. You can sort it by brand, price, rank, year, ascending and descending, top speed. You can even put your own filters like hypercars, supercars, or even a nationality like Italian, as said on the video. And you see those gray columns, which I don't mind, and the pictures of the cars with the option to favorite your car, which I think is pretty cool, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, here's one of the fellow OG players who stated his opinion. But then I was like directly at 22 Pilots. First optimize your game and then I'll try to play. It's running like crap, and well, unfortunately I feel like that is true because there is a lot of bugs in Ultimate Driving. Like, not to take it harsh on anyone or anything, but it is pretty true. I understand that the developers all have their own personal lives, and I completely get it. And perhaps this person did take it a little too harsh there, but I do agree that the game does need further optimization. That's why you see a whole wave of bug updates. And personally, I think that if the developers were to just take their time with the updates and make sure that they can identify any bugs forming in these new updates and fix them before the update comes out, like for every single update, and just take their time with them, then I think this wouldn't be an issue at all, and the game would be completely lagless, or almost lagless at least. And then 22 Pilots just go ahead and makes fun of him by saying he has a potato PC, whole bunch of cables, gigabyte storage, and parts just connected to potato, as his computer is completely rotten. Literally saying you right now. It's not the only one. This guy can feel it. And this guy's just trying to side with 22 Pilots here. It looks like these other people, perhaps the modern generation, or just people who agree with 22 Pilots, saying he needs a better PC. But I don't really necessarily blame it on his PC. I think there's a lot of bugs in the game that could be used to fix, and staff members are addressing it. So here's another person that had his own complaint there and suggestion to improvement. It's like, wow, a sorting button. How about fix the guns? Police team, combat logging, etc. Which solve all issues. But I think this treat right here, including the other ones I just showed you, really shows 22 Pilots' true colors. Nah, he like doesn't care. And this guy says, man, your game sucks ass, Lamo. How can you be so bad at being a dev? And he goes, you are, as he take it. And then the guys found it funny that 22 Pilots tries to point it at him instead. The leaving soon button can also mean that there are particular cars that will be vaulted for a particular amount of time, temporary. So it looks like that as a whole, 22 Pilots wants the older generation to go away and doesn't care about the long-time player base. I know this may be another harsh thing, but really, it looks like it, and instead of trying to appeal to the needs of the teenagers and what they can do to overall improve the game, it just completely ignores them and just focuses on what the younger generation wants. So he said, like, the teenagers are just mad that they don't find the children's games, as he considers Ultimate Driving they were young, fun anymore, and then pick random number for golden years. Now, I just said that 2018 was a golden year in Ultimate Driving, and perhaps with all teenagers just being upset the way how 22 Pilots is running the game, or just how Ultimate Driving is going altogether. That's why every single YouTuber is leaving the game. Well, there are still a couple of active YouTubers out there that are not growing much at all. Ultimate Driving's just not good at all for growing a YouTube channel. And make sure that has no ill feelings to 22 Pilots, other developers, GameFam affiliate partners, other UD staff members on premises, and just pointing out that there are pure facts going on there, and my desire to leave full-time as a content creator on a good note. And I did say that I'd still do part-time every now and then, but I think with those treats and the way how it's going, I don't think I'm going to be doing part-time for a while. Like a long while at least. And I said, I hope what I said was done in a responsible, constructive manner, and that's how I truly feel. My intention is not to provoke anyone in this, but rather just state my opinions and provide an understanding to why I feel like quitting the game would be the best move for my YouTube channel, which we'll discuss that later. And I'm gonna be honest, my heart was racing when I made those tweets. Bit nervous what was going to happen next, but what they do is in their decision, and I understand it. So we'll move on to the other tweets. Like this guy, I'm Super Charles, and he says, haha, you're pressed over me calling your game a cash grab. Be serious, man. And then those are the argument that I was like really accurate. You'll be able to afford all said vehicles you want. This guy didn't have to pay Robux. And they said VIP locked cars from Burnout Boxer. So there was a little argument between Flex and this person. And it just goes on and on until this guy says something VIPs aren't something new in Roblox. Even Driving Empire has your own VIP game pass, and it does the job that it would do. But the only negative thing in a UD VIP pass is that there are monthly payments of Robux you need to do, which is true, and you have to keep renewing every 1 or 6 months in order to keep the subscription, rather than just getting a VIP pass and keeping it for a lifetime. So I just found some new tweets that would be very important. Well, this guy continues to trash talk Ultimate Driving, and Dan DeRio agrees that was a quarter of what it used to be. It could be so much more. And that game's awful. And 20 Pies try to say it's not. But if you go ahead and look at the graph there, you can't see any of the golden days from where the OGs were playing from 2017, 2018, even up to mid 2019. It just goes back into 2020. That big spike right there in September 2021 was mainly from the 21 Pilots Roblox concert event, with the game creator of Ultimate Driving being almost identical to 21 Pilots' name. And then it continues where it says, stand corrected, just thought the game had more players than it does now. And then Super Charles continues like, Lamo, stop the crap. You had to roll out a 2 times bonus week in a desperate attempt to inflate player numbers. Watch the numbers get half the very next day. Terrible player retention. So I'm just going to go ahead and look. And this was way back in September as well. 14,595 players at its highest. Then the next day, 7,359 players. This is return to Cylene S5S Raptor, 2 times rewards, bundles. It was back in October, just to inflate player counts. Purple Pro Any Santa says, I'm almost positive that when 22 Pilots made police team and houses free, they only did it to get more players on, then proceeds to give us nothing or terrible items in return. All you need now is a cash grab, or at least most of the major updates UD gets, it's just going to be cash grabs, which sadly I do agree with that because it's true. All you get is just new cars, 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 new cars galore. That's pretty much all you get. And double XP and cash events. And then when the big updates do come out, they're often underhanded. Like the sound update, for example. Some of the cars were really good, but others just have no sound at all. And instead of just only, making a portion of the car sound good and then have them sound like the vacuum cleaner sound it had for years, and just do a handful at a time in increments of multiple updates, they decided to just do one massive sound update and just remove the sounds of some of the cars, even the iconic V10 cars like the Audi RA and the Lexus LFA. You don't get any sound of those in Ultimate Driving, which really sucks. And that's just one of the examples. Like, you'll see many other bigger updates just being underhanded. Another big one was Victory Road, for example, which ended up having over 1 million bugs. And then just gave very few gems during the whole thing when people earned them. And then Super Charles ends off over here. Definitely prioritizes short-term profit over longevity. Pretty sure that's why they've gone ahead and introduced this whole car vaulting thing. Locking cars away, then turn them around and drum up hype when they want to release them again. The greed has no bounds. And Envy over here just goes over a line for all these treats. Irrelevant nonsense. UD's the only thing irrelevant right now. You're all on par with Vehicle Simulator back in 2017. Let's continue. You say you listen to your community. Can we have police cars that are under rank 100? Proceed to add 3 cars that are above rank 100. Like all of them above rank 100. Updates you say are coming soon, like Newark, Manson's, .emt, and then cash grabs with VIP and skill points instead of those updates being added. The worst guns out of any video game ever. I can make guns better than what's in game right now. You can be right in front of someone and somehow miss. Police are useless right now. Most cop cars that are actually easy to obtain can be outran by a $500,000 roadster that everyone has. And that's the reason why I don't have the Tesla roadster, because everyone has it and a lot of people like to be toxic with it. The only chance of PD getting anyone has been removed. can't pop tires anymore. Maybe add spike strips or just add back the ability to suit them yourself. Too much work for the devs. I mean, we still don't have Mansons that are coming quote unquote very soon. It even says the Manson Pass coming soon, 22 pilots. This isn't just a cash grab, it's highway robbery, according to Envy. And then this guy over here, Arrow Wild, says, respond to this guy, prove him wrong. Oh yeah, you can't. Write directly at 22 pilots. And then this guy says, yeah, we are the worst developer of all time, games are ass. Quite frankly, a lot of OGs are pissed off at this. Especially for all tweets going on from the game creator. We go over to older tweets from 22 pilots. Scrolling down long enough, you'll definitely see that 22 pilots has exposed people of getting banned rather than just dealing with it privately. Like this was when D Soda's son stole old Ultimate Driving maps that were obsolete. Basically got into Ultimate Driving and then publicized that it was okay to steal them. But it gets more obvious if we go to Maylight's ban. Here it is. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but instead of privately talking it out and doing it on Discord, like Discord DMs, he just goes ahead and publicly responds on Twitter, out in the public where everyone can see this. And you know, you can see that there is the argument that goes on here. But you see Maylight's saying how much like he enjoyed game stuff, and then 22 Pilots found this YouTube video. It's some doll opinions in a nutshell back in 2021. And he said, if I had with you the pseudo community of spoiled children you exist in. Y'all pretend like you support the game, meanwhile you post hate content and dox the dev team, steal hosts and support stolen IP, try a rally against those who are just trying to build a fun game. Staff, developers, and myself do not exist to cater to your every whim. We are human beings with personal lives, doing our best to make a game that can be enjoyed by as many people as possible. You've proven yourselves unable to respect that, so do me a favor and go away. So back then, I see like this tweet more aimed at them or being Maylight's fan bases. Not everyone, but people who were actually doxing the dev team, steal hosts and stuff from the game, support stolen IP addresses, and rally the developers who are just trying to build Ultimate Driving, as in rallying against them. And I guess by hate content, it's not like constructive criticism, but rather than just down the line. It's back then I could understand, but the new tweets he just made is just completely unacceptable in my opinion, and all the other OGs out there. Like, look at this. See, it was done pointing out directly to teenagers. Like, perhaps this sounded understandable first, but the tweet below it just made a lot of people pissed off. I think it's a good reason that a lot of people are leaving the Ultimate Driving community because of what he directly said to teenagers. And he literally said that he liked how the teenagers were getting mad despite said games having the same features as they did, like in the past to now, in random year where people thought Ultimate Driving was in the golden years. So basically, I personally think this tweet over here has a message saying, go away, all teenagers, all OGs who found the game to be nostalgic. I want that generation to be completely wiped out, and I want the new generation and what the current younger kids are playing to dominate this game, and that be it. No YouTubers whatsoever. That may not be 100% true, but like, I don't know. It sounds pretty convincing the way he says. Just whatever you do, for anyone's watching this, just please, for the love of God, don't say anything to 22 Pilots nor any of the Ultimate Driving staff. I don't care if it's 22 Pilots himself, another developer, someone from GameFam, moderator, ambassador, any Ultimate Driving staffer. Don't say anything about this or anything negative. It's just forbidden. Otherwise, if I catch you doing that with any of my staff members, we'll just ban you from the Ford Mustang YT community permanently forever without any reconsideration. I do not tolerate this kind of behavior at all. I just want to point this out that a lot of people are just upset at this tweet, and that's why a lot of people are leaving the game, and there are many other reasons why people just don't want to really play Ultimate Driving anymore and not make content on it either. Like why all the YouTubers are leaving the game as well. Anything to avoid a war. That would be great. Like, you would think that OGs would be respected by developers for playing the game for such a long time and supporting them, and basically all the ways to how the game works and stuff, and perhaps they can give very insightful meaning to newer players who are just getting to know the game. But non-Ultimate Driving, 22 Pilots clearly doesn't show any respect for the OG Ultimate Driving players, and literally points out at teenagers mad. 2 key words right there. All the YouTubers who took time out of their day to make content for the game and get people hyped up. No, the developers did not promote any of those YouTubers. They did not put in-game codes for them. Right, they just did a big guys who only came now and then, like Matrix and his friend Carboom. And even then, after a while, they stopped making videos on Ultimate Driving. Matrix only does it like once in a great while. You don't see him promote the game even that much. Like, what for? Like, I think the full-time people who actually take time out of their day to make Ultimate Driving content and are actually fans of the game, who've been playing it for years and know every way around it, should get the respect that they deserve. And other games on Roblox certainly give those content creators that, but not 22 Pilots. Sadly, it's the opposite for OG players. And that just shows you personality. He really only cares for the little kids, the higher demographic that populates Ultimate Driving more. Although, you can really say that the OGs really dominate a good population of the game, and by saying that, 22 Pilots has lost a whole lot of revenue to his game. Not only that, a whole lot of fans as well and players to the game daily. And it just really makes him look like a jerk by just saying that. Pointing directly at my generation of Ultimate Driving players that I've grown out of in a community. True colors of 22 Pilots. And how he takes prioritization and superiority to the younger demographic that basically doesn't really give much suggestions and just drives all over the place. And, you know, I mean, they're kids. Like, what kind of developer is that? After all the years that we've been supporting your game, and you just treat us like this. Horrible. Just downright horrible. Just make us feel resistance after all those years. You just have to remember the good times and don't even think about now. That's pretty much the only thing you can do. And I think I better get out of this topic, because now I feel like it's just getting too negative. I'm saying, but that's just what's happening. Like, I can't believe a developer would treat his own longtime fans like this. It really puts a frown on my face. And not only that, but just makes many people just never want to set their foots into the game again. And you know what? With the older generation who's been playing for so long and knows their way in and out of the game, all about it, I don't think 22 Pilots gives a damn caring finger on it. Like, I'm serious. I don't think he really gives a damn about it and doesn't care. Cares about the more dominant generation that probably not really knowing to suggest all of this, but still got a whole wave of players who know about that. And who knows, maybe I might be wrong. This younger generation may actually want to suggest things and make the game better, but 22 Pilots is just ignoring all of them and just keeping the game for himself. Like, even literally said, nah, he doesn't want to fix all the bugs. What kind of accent is that to treat a fan who just wants to help the game for the future? Sure, maybe the man could have been said a little better, but I think the way Howell's expressly at teenagers, it made all of us fed up. And pretty uncomfortable and upset as well. After all the years that we've supported him through, and his way to buying his own McLaren. Yet, years later, he treats us like garbage. A literal trash can with crumbled up tissues and boogers all over in it. Man has basically betrayed his most loyal demographic and generation. It's just disgustingly upsetting to see this to actually happen in a game for his own fan base. I know some of the players literally kind of went against 22 Pilots and literally said that the game is completely ass now and something, or it's just garbage, but you know, that's just how the OG Ultimate Driving community feels. We just haven't been getting much good updates, and like I said before, the big updates that everyone is hyped at, they ended up being underhanded, less than the expectations that players desire. Most of them, as the whole entire Ultimate Driving community, you know, they're just not there. And I feel like 22 Pilots and his developing team just need to do a better job at satisfying those requirements. But you just don't go ahead and outright point at a demographic and say that they're mad and stuff and make fun of them. Like, it's basically just gonna ruin your reputation as a whole. I'm done talking about this. Let's move on to reasons why so many content creators are leaving. Virtually every single one, as well as the players. There's 10 reasons that I'm just going to briefly mention over here. The first reason is backlash between updates and suggestions that happen between the Ultimate Driving community, especially with the OG players, and also the developers / staff members of the Ultimate Driving team. There's a lot of disagreements and stuff that go on there, and sadly there are a lot of OG members that are now just downright trash talking about the game, and that's not right. You know, you need to keep using constructive suggestions and opinions in order to improve the game and regain the glory of Ultimate Driving. Now, I believe there are still a good amount of players that do not want to use downright hate talk in order to talk the developers into improving their updates, but rather in a constructive manner. And these people have been with the Ultimate Driving community for years. I mean years. like so long that, like I said before, we know our way in and out of the ultimate driving community. And we look at the OG days, the olden days, and see how good it was, but also take that into consideration to improve ultimate driving and make it even better. Sure, the game will never have block cars in its regular playing set, or it probably won't go back with the malls stuff that was in 2018, but it could certainly be a lot of ways to make the system go smooth and accurate, and just make the whole experience more enjoyable when playing the game with big and exciting features that everyone wants. Not just the new cars we get all the time, which I personally think it's just boring now, because that's pretty much all we get, along with ×2 or sometimes ×3 events. We could get a whole lot more than that if the developers really put in their true potential and hard, diligent work into their development. I would really like to see what this game can become, but the work needs to be done in order to get there. The second reason is that the YouTubers who dedicate time into their day don't really get any benefits in return, unlike other Roblox games. Like, there's no custom tag for the chat saying YouTuber. There's no code for YouTubers who work hard. There's no exclusive access to test new cars that have been unreleased or new features. Nothing. Just no anything for YouTubers who always spend time making quality content and hyping their fans up for updates, or just sharing their own adventures with them and to have fun and grow a community that connects them with ultimate driving even further. They don't do anything for that. And it was like only the big YouTubers who came once in a while got those rewards. Big ones like Matrix, Chris and the Mike, and Matrix's friend, Carboom. Well, actually Carboom was sort of full-time, but I believe it was mainly from that associated Matrix that got him the code. And I just think it's not right, and it's very political, and no game should treat YouTubers like this. And other games, like, the YouTubers have custom tags, they have their own dedicated codes, they have access to exclusive unreleased content. Like, they have access to all of it and benefits that can help grow their YouTube channel even further and add an even bigger impact to the game in a positive way. Ultimate Driving just doesn't do that. Third reason is that it's hard to join your friends nowadays with the new hub system. Literally, when you just go ahead and join in, they don't really show you any servers that your friends are on. It's like very rarely they would do that. You basically just have to wing it and just hope that you're in the right server with your friends. Next two are more of community issues, but you get toxic drivers who think they are superior and just drive around left and right and block your way in order for you to try to ruin your experience and all that. Got a lot of cops too. People who are just driving all over, like this Toyota MR2 over here. And I've seen worse. Drivers actually cutting me off the road and steering me in unwanted directions. That has definitely happened to me before. People driving on the wrong side of the road. It's the nature of the game, and doesn't really look like that's in racing mode either. These cops often rest over are there to gain XP or do anything to rest. Thankfully, the amount of bounty required has been raised in order to tame these cops from arresting so much. That's what a lot of cops do. Today where you'll see a cop role-playing in a public server in Westover. The fifth reason Mixer goes into bypass audio. I'm not really hearing anything right now, but sometimes you'll go into a public server in Ultimate Driving and you'll hear bypass audio with words that you shouldn't really hear, especially in a Roblox game. But it happens. With those three, there's nothing you can really do about it, but it just makes the public server experience just less appealing in general. And I get it, all public servers tend to be chaotic in Roblox, but I think compared to driving games, Ultimate Driving is a serious contender for chaotic activity, or just people driving all around just not really knowing what to do. You also get these things on the screen which they need assistance or to race, and it's a pop-up inviting everyone to either race or provide assistance, which is not bad stuff, but I guess when you're just trying to play a game and you get this instead of like verbally inviting people through the chat, just doesn't feel the same. Also, I noticed that back in the day, public servers used to be a whole lot more interactive with every player, but now you mainly just find that interaction with richer servers. Like, you hardly find any interaction between players. See some over there, but it's just not like it used to be in terms of chatting. Seems like this new demographic of younger kids just probably just wants to drive around. It doesn't really think about using chat much. And I think of all the ways you can have fun, and most of these public servers, they just grind, or just stay around Westover. Like, you have to be in a richer server to be more common in order to see car shows and stuff. Well, even then, car shows are a rare thing now, because everyone just wants to drive around or just chill in Westover all day. And I guess back in the day, players were a lot more creative with our ideas too. These people just play a game for the hell of it, and nothing wrong with that, but for us OGs out there, it just doesn't feel the same like it used to be. Not as highly interactive in regular public servers. Also, you can now donate full amounts, like however you want, as long as it doesn't exceed 35% of your balance. Like, let's just say if I go ahead and go over to the poorest user over here, I'm gonna go ahead and select this guy. So go to the main menu, donate credits, and just find his name, and even shows a max amount of 80,000, not the 1,000 like it used to be, which is a little annoying because, you know, back when you had 1,000 credits as the maximum limit, you know, it didn't have much beggars, and before that it used to be really annoying where you can donate however much you want. But now it seems like it's back, and the max amount is now 80,000. So you see, I just donated 20,000 to this user, as that's how it works now. He has 20,000 more cash. But yeah, that just goes to show you that it looks like there'll now be more beggars than before, but hopefully not as much as it used to be back in the block car era days. It's just annoying in general for richer people when they grind in the game and just want to grind alone and chat to their friends in peace, or just other people in general, and then get some people just begging for donations, like, please donate me this amount for a dream car or something. It gets very annoying, and it's a common thing in Ultimate Driving. It's is another reason why a lot of the older players are leaving. And this one that I'm about to tell you is the core of them all, boring updates. All you get is new cars and just ×2 or ×3 events. I'm not gonna lie, this Camaro is actually pretty good. They do a good job with the car models over here. That's what I think on some of the cars. And then other people have their own opinions. They don't really like the new 2021, 2022 models. But I feel like we could just get so much more than that, like I've said earlier. And with the lack of exciting updates and the big updates just being underhanded, has left people's interest to be going elsewhere. And a lot of them in particular. Heck, that's even why all YouTubers for a game quit. Especially the big ones, is because the lack of updates just doesn't grow their YouTube channel. The exciting updates that everyone wants. And I'll get more into that in the next reason after this one. But second and last reason I have over here is bugs. I know the developers definitely have their own lives out there. They can't work 24/7. But hear me out. I feel like that the updates should be taken care of in lots of time built into the development of these updates. Enough time where you can go ahead and check over the bugs and correct/fix them before the update gets released. And that way you won't be having any complaints. The game will just be flawless smooth and just be a lot more enjoyable experience for the players when new updates come out. Which is always something to look forward to. And lagless updates without bugs like this is key to that. And I believe if they just take their time with the development of updates and ensure that no bugs are present, that they do all corrective action to remove bugs before an update comes out, then I think Ultimate Driving is golden. And now lastly, I'm going to talk about how Ultimate Driving doesn't really grow your YouTube channel nowadays. Well, like I said before, with the updates that I've mentioned earlier, it does draw a point to why so many YouTubers left and moved on to other games or just quit altogether. There wasn't really anything exciting to make content on with the lack of updates. And while getting creative with ideas was cool, it wasn't really suitable for a community with those lack of updates that I used to be getting every now and then. But it was also along with all the other reasons that I've mentioned earlier, and that just made it even less appealing to make content on for a game for all these YouTubers. And even with the lack of benefits and stuff, they just all thought it just wasn't worth making content on anymore, and that there are other games that are so much better, and even the community too. Another reason is that with the new demographic, I think there are very few people out there that actually watch Ultimate Driving YouTube videos in the new demographic. All my viewers that came out and support me were from the older demographic. and still are to this day. And we were always looking forward to the way how updates work, and I think with the videos I made, I've truly connected that generation, and we've surely had a blast. But now everyone in the Ultimate Driving community with that generation is just not liking it anymore. Focused to just new cars and stuff, just left negative feedback along with that, and you know, it hurts when I see that, but it's just how it is nowadays. This new approach has pretty much disconnected us in a way, and we just like to see better updates, more exciting ones, and we're not getting that. Everyone's just moving on to other games that they would enjoy more, because who would want to play a game that they don't enjoy, right? You know, you always want to enjoy something that you like playing. And well, I've just been holding on to this so long, thinking I'll be optimistic for the future and you get better and gain glory again. But I was completely wrong about that, thinking it would happen in 2022, 2023, or even 2021, you know. I thought it would all get better, the game would regain glory, we'll be back on the good times, the channel will be flying once again. But it looks like I was proven wrong with these small updates that are being taken place and priority in the younger demographic. All these years I felt like I was actually against my own audience just because I didn't switch games like the whole community did. You know, I always thought I was optimistic, and that's why it took me forever to get to 3,000 subscribers, was because of that. It literally took me nearly 2.5 years just to gain 1,000 subscribers, from 2K to 3K. Just wasn't at the optimum like most Roblox YouTube channels, and just not the same how when my channel was Ford Focus 165 and Ford Focus YT. You know, the channel really flourished back then. Like when I changed my name to Ford Mustang YT, I think that's when the game was starting to go a little downhill, especially in 2020, as most of the OGs we call. And my channel never really grew all that fast with the Ford Mustang YT name, except for that one time where I was literally this close to quitting Ultimate Driving at the tip of the finger back in 2021 when Venom RB got banned. But by mercy of the positivity and optimism that was still left in the Ultimate Driving community last year, I decided to stay. And you know, it was a rough 4 months just being there, determining what to do or making a final video, but looked at the consequences, and you know, I thought it was actually best to stay. And it was right when Max was reaching 1 million miles. You know, then I thought it was safe to come back. But now it just doesn't show any growth at all. The older generations of the Ultimate Driving community and was stuck with the newer ones. And it seems like that's all what 22 Pilots cares about, and just adds new cars like he wishes, along with the car team developers. And if you go back on my YouTube channel and look way back in the olden days comparing now, you'll see a difference. I mean, now my views are okay, but they're not really the best. Most ideal for a channel with 3,000 subscribers. And often it's actually underhanded. While back in the day when my channel was smaller and at its prime, it would always get like 500, 600, even 1,000 views. It all depends on the video, but it was thriving back in the day. Even then, with the milestone videos making some smaller amounts, you know, it was still good for the amount of subscribers I have, and everyone liked my content. between different milestones, the leaks that I was hyping everyone for, updates we would talk about, just everything in general with the Ultimate Driving community, and it was so fun. Right now, it just doesn't feel the same anymore, and I feel like with these updates, when everything was done, a lot of people just left. I noticed that fewer subscribers were actually watching my videos. Started to notice that everyone has been moving off the other games, and I just still remained optimistic because I thought one day everyone would come back and update would be good, but I've been holding that on for 2 years after I made that thought in 2020, even like in late 2019. I've just seen no progress into where my hopes were getting, and that's pretty disappointing if you come to look at it. And because of that, I think it's the best decision to finally switch games and make more content on it, games people will like and enjoy, with all sorts of crazy ideas. And with the exciting updates and all sorts of crazy ideas that you'll find, it's actually just a lot more exciting to make the content in general, and plus, a lot more people like to see that. If I'd done this back in 2020, I think I would have had a lot more subscribers and active viewers, but I just remained too optimistic and stubborn, unlike my fellow YouTuber friends who left in 2021. And even then, I heard people getting doubts to think about in 2020. Maybe some of my friends did, but I know most of it was happening in 2021 where all my friends left. But I, however, remained optimistic and thought I had an advantage of being the only big YouTuber in the game. Completely wrong though, as Ultimate Driving just isn't as appealing to watch as it used to be by the fellow viewers we have in our communities. And quite frankly, I think the newer demographic is mostly mobile players who don't really pay attention to watching videos on YouTube, and they're just more concerned about playing the game, having fun, and perhaps just knocking themselves out and don't know what they're really doing. And with the older demographic not really liking the way how Ultimate Driving's turn out, I think now is the best time to just move on to another game. Be positive about everything. No ill feelings to any Ultimate Driving stuff whatsoever. Just move on, have a great life, and pursue in the opportunities that are there to come. So I'm over here with my first ever car that I ever bought in Ultimate Driving way back in August 2016, the Jeep Wrangler. Yes, this was my very first car way back in the day, and I had an awful lot of fun driving this as I progressed to my next car. It was sort of fun daily in all places. But what led me to discover Ultimate Driving was I was on my phone back with the other Ford Focus 165 account, and Ultimate Driving was somehow playable, but I tried it out and I couldn't really turn. I really liked the way how there were realistic roads in Ultimate Driving. I thought, I want to play a game full time with realistic roads. And way back in the day, Ultimate Driving was the only game I knew that had that. So I decided to become part of the community, and look where I am now with it. It's insane, just going from player to YouTuber. Zero to hero. But sometimes the hero needs to move on to a better place that'll help him in the long run. Now, you guys may be asking, what content will I make in the future? Well, mainly I was actually planning on switching to Greenville, and that's because I know a lot of people from Greenville and a lot of friends in particular, also fellow YouTubers. I'm already a pro at the game. It's easy for me to switch into. I played it a lot back in 2018, and I just really like the roleplay vibe it has on it. It has a lot more realistic normal cars who drive around than what you see in Ultimate Driving, which is more of a racing focused game. And I just developed more of an appreciation to driving regular cars and just fast supercars all the time. It's good broadening your taste of cars, and I think having an appreciation to what it means to be driving in real life and stuff is very important, and I'm just glad I developed such a sense like that, and I wish to harness that through the Greenville roleplay servers that I can easily cherish on. In addition to that, I may also do some Southwest Florida builds, maybe some ERLC every now and then, or Emergency Roleplay Liberty County. And there's a possibility where I may even go outside Roblox, but it depends on money I have and stuff. I was thinking about expanding the Rocket League, maybe Forza Horizon 5 and American Truck Simulator. All good games that I'd probably be interested in. Perhaps could just expand outside of Roblox, just one gaming platform, and embrace different communities as a whole culture. You see that Pennsylvania license plate? Well, in other games, I plan to branch out of only using Pennsylvania license plates and use states that are from elsewhere besides Pennsylvania and provinces from other countries, such as Canada's. A lot of people may wonder, will I ever get banned from Ultimate Driving? And that'll all depend on how it works out and stuff. Pretty much all boils down to how the Ultimate Driving staff think about my video, this one in particular. Also, I wrote a couple of tweets to attempt in turning around the attention of 22 pilots and hopefully bring UD back to its glory, but we'll see how that goes. I just feel like I have to get all of this out there, because I truly think what he said about the teenagers there was unacceptable, and well, if I get banned just for saying that, tough luck. He basically turned against his most loyal fan base, and because of that, all of us are now just moving on to the other games that we just enjoy more, and perhaps have a better time with the developers as well, along with all staff members that are there. It's been a good run for the past 6 years, almost since August 2016, and I started to become a full-time YouTuber in June 2017, June 15th to be on exact. And I really enjoyed it over the years. I want to thank all the opportunities to, even 22 Pilots back in the day when we all the good updates, all the staff members for providing me these opportunities by just simply letting me go over the game was automatic for the player and just come on and enjoy the times, along with the good memories I had with various staff members. And when you go to some of my really old videos, I actually did a couple races with some Ultimate Driving staff members, both former and current, such as Jalex and Surcats, who used to be part of the Ultimate Driving team. We had Bretson hosting it, and there were a couple other friends who raced me, and we had a lot of fun. We did various races from both of the McLarens that were out at the time, the 12C Spider and MP4 12C Can-Am. We had the Konenzang 1-to-1 and the Ferrari F50. So we had a whole bunch of couple fun races. I could definitely link them in the description. But even before that, it all started when I was grinding with Max Power Plays and Hayden J now. They used to be known as II Hayden Plays. We used to be grinding all the time and, you know, generally have our own conversations, but I noticed that my friends also like to make YouTube videos for Ultimate Driving. They didn't really like as much, just for fun of it. They like to just drive around and make videos, and you know, at the time, back in 2017, I was scared, kind of afraid to make Ultimate Driving content. I think it would damage my channel retention, because it was mainly a vlogging channel back then. I was dead wrong, and it actually made my YouTube channel very successful in the long run up to mid 2019. Even then, when times were slower in growth, at least it got me up to over 3K, which is fabulously just amazing. I could not ever thank you enough for such an audience like that. Such kind, supportive audience over years. Now, I know some people may have ghosted out because of where Ultimate Driving has been, but you know, it was an awful lot of fun just playing over years and just enjoy making content to entertain you guys and to bring us together and connects into the Ultimate Driving community. We have our own separate community. We can have talk to friends of similar interest in Ultimate Driving. I've always wanted to do that, and certainly I have achieved that dream. And yeah, many of you may not recognize Hayden that much unless you're like a really old OG that has been there for a while. We kind of drifted apart after he falsely got banned from Ultimate Driving a couple years ago for stolen assets. I'm sure he would remember the good times in reminiscence. And look at that, I just reached 155,000 miles as I'm towards the end of this video. But yeah, it's so great how this YouTube channel came from a start of growth back in 2017 to where it is now. I can't thank you enough, can't put enough emphasis on how you guys are just the best people ever. Like seriously, I can't thank you enough for that, and can't wait for many more memories we'll have in the future, and perhaps a channel that is flourishing a lot more by switching the other games. And it was definitely good while we had it, especially from 2017, 2018, even up to mid 2019. It was a lot of fun for all of us, and for the past couple years we've just been adding new cars, you know, we were pacing enough, but now I believe it's time to move on, and I'm always here to remember the good times I had in Ultimate Driving, not the bad. So if I get banned from the game, yeah, I'll have to acknowledge that I may no longer be able to play it, but at least I remember all the good times I had in the 6 years that I've been playing game. I mean, hopefully I don't get banned. It'll be good if I still get to play part-time every now and then. We'll have to see. I mean, I think I'm going to take a break for a while after what I saw from the developers' tweets. But yes guys, that's going to be it for the end of the video right there. I hope you guys got a core understanding to why I want to quit Ultimate Driving, and also why a lot of OGs just want to move on and want to switch games instead of remaining to be part of Ultimate Driving. There are some people who are still optimistic, but it's like very few. Like if anyone, I've only seen one person actually say that they were optimistic about the future still in the comment box of my community posts. I also think more people should be aware about these issues and use their awareness to use constructive criticism and suggestions to help promote the well-being of ultimate driving in the future and definitely further improve it, rather than criticism going to the extreme of hate that are going to bans. Yeah, we do not want that. So I hope this definitely help people use it in the right direction and in the right way to kindly suggest things to ultimate driving staff members, and that they take it as needed. I had a bigger project that I want to work on that was like this in more detail, but I noticed it was like way too long, and then that whole tree just accelerated the process, and I'm not really going to remember that 2 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and just move on with my life, focus on what's important, and just grow my channel and have fun from there. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video right there. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash the like button. Comment your thoughts below if you want a civil discussion on anything that's going on with ultimate driving, or just the development behind it, as long as it's used in a constructive manner and nothing provoking the UD staff. That's all it matters, and so it'd be a lot more positive with that. Otherwise, you know the penalty already. And once you can also hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications for future uploads on this YouTube channel. But anyways, Ford Mustang YT signing out with the final full-time ultimate driving video. Peace.